Okay, Mother Nature has been kind to me this year, and I was able to get my tank park set up at least a month earlier than usual. So it all started on the Friday night of this 3-day weekend when I bought a new chainsaw, and Saturday and Sunday were pretty much devoted to getting everything raked and cleared up and the fallen trees cut, and all the stuff that winter does every year has to be repaired. And so Saturday and Sunday we got most of that done. And you can see this is the area where the Gasthaus usually goes, for those of you that know me. And all of the roads down to the west end of the lot and along the south side are all cleared and ready to go. Obviously the brush pile is still here. So today on Monday, which is a beautiful day, I've been able to come out here and just mock up part of the village to get an idea of how things are going to go and what's going to happen out here. So you can see that I've mocked up the farm complex. Brought a lot of the new stuff out here. Still got to put windows and doors on the barn. Just picked up this Erdl cattle van or livestock van on eBay. I got it for $27 or something, and it is actually 1/16, as is the crawler and the tractor, and then the truck is 1/18. So there's a blend of 16th and 18th scale stuff here. The cars and the pickup are 18th, and you'll recognize a lot of the 16th scale stuff. And of course I got a couple tanks out. Now that's a 1/16 scale 41 Chevy. Uh-oh, there's Trailer Trash Tina trying to pick up on the boys. I picked up that white picket fence on eBay. The only pieces at this end that are new from before, I had the red building last year, moved down here, and then out behind the farmhouse, I got to be careful about walking through here and holding this camera, is the gazebo that I picked up. And I so far haven't picked up much in the way of lawn furniture, but I did manage to get a few things that will go out here in the back. In just a second, I got a fallen tree here. And so the gazebo is out here, and one of the new lawn chairs. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to make it look like the farmer has been very prosperous. I don't think this is going to be very realistic. I don't think this is really going to be an accurate representation of what you would have found in Bavaria in like 1943. But it'll be fun, and I'll have a good time with it. And part of the whole point here is that I wanted to set up an area where my fellow RC tankers could bring their favorite tanks that they've worked so hard to detail and make nice, and get photos and videos of them in a different setting. Because I'm set up here with camera equipment and a desktop PC and all that, that if one of my buddies was to bring a tank over, and we got a lot of stills and videos of it driving around all the different places in the village, I can then go inside and end up with a movie or a slideshow on a CD that the tanker can take home with him, you know. And I think that's pretty cool, and I think I'll have a lot of fun doing that. Now, I've still got to find a place to put this wonderful little bridge that Harley made for me. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with that. But part of today's exercise is to see how well it works to just set up little scenes, you know. Like here we've got a couple of cars that pulled off to the side of the road for some kind of little conference. They're just figuring something out, you know. Same thing here. We've got some trucks. They're just pulled off to the side of the road around this corner here. Two of the Indiana Jones trucks, which actually mate pretty well with the Blitz if you don't look too close. And then here we got the fellows have, you know, stepped out of the truck and they're consulting their maps and they're talking it over and all that stuff, kind of across the street from the farmhouse. Don't ask what this guy's doing. I just plopped him down there. And then one of the things I like is to try and put little hidden things that you kind of have to look for. Like here's a guy having a smoke. He just stepped out to have a smoke by the mailbox and take a look around. And like I was saying, not very realistic. I don't have any idea what kind of mailboxes they had in Bavaria in 1943. And then kitty corner, all I've done here, you can see these 3 barrels. Now this is just a very rough initial mock-up of what will eventually be the castle. Now I can't stress this enough, fellas. This castle is inspired by and very, very loosely based on Castle Dunstafnage in Scotland. It's not supposed to be an exact representation. It's just in the layout I got it all screwed up because Dunstafnage actually has 2 towers and a square house kind of thing in one wall. But this will be the basic setup, and I've just got the flat guns up there. They're obviously not set up or anything, but just to give you guys an idea of the size, you know. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this, is so that I can get advice from my fellow RC tankers, because you guys seem to have a lot of good ideas about this stuff. So what I'm thinking is making the walls in sections, and I'm not going to follow the real thing. The real walls at Castle Dunstafnage are 60 feet tall, and in 1/16 scale that would be 45 inches. So I was going to go with a 40-foot wall, which would be 30 inches, and I'm thinking about making the walls as separate units, and then maybe screw in some studs in the end or something so that I can put them together with the towers and possibly use wing nuts to just, you know, lock them together real quick. I don't know. I've still got to do a lot of work to the towers themselves. I've kind of started on this one. You can see where I've experimented just a little bit with that textured paint, and I don't know how well it'll show up in the video, but I think that's going to work pretty well. And I think it'll also work well for the walls, which I'll build out of floor underlayment and, you know, framework of 1x1. And for that, they'll be about 7.5 inches wide, which is a 10-foot thick wall. And I would like to try and make them a little thicker at the base than the top, because that's how actual castle walls were built. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna get a few test shots of stills, and I'll post those. And so you guys have seen where I'm at and where I'm going, and I'd like to hear your comments and suggestions, and, you know, what you think, and anything you guys can come up with that might be of help. And right now, before we go, you can see where this area is so good for photographs, because on a nice day like today, I get this dappled sunlight, where right now this flat gun is just right in the sun, you know, and shows up really well. And then right next to it, you can see shadow, you know. So I think that's gonna get very interesting this year. Like, look, there's the Stug in that dappled sunlight. That's an effect that I like very much. The firewood behind it doesn't look too realistic, but what are you going to do? All right, fellas, we're coming up on 8 minutes. We'll see you next time.